let me just ask you, if you are 40, 50 years old and you maxed your 401k and you paid off your house and you pay your cars down and you live below your means, and so you were set, your retirement set, you're going to be content, but somebody came to you and said, siphon just 5% off, and this is a stock that could make you rich. And some people aren't comfortable with it. Some people are like, nah, I got my 401k. I'm not taking anything out of my 401k. And then there are other people like John Harbaugh that said, well, I'm going to be a Hall of Fame coach. I won a Super Bowl. I'm going to siphon off about 5-10% of that 401k. I'm not going to play it safe. I'm going to go all in on Lamar Jackson. And a lot of people are like, Lamar Jackson, that's crazy. He runs a lot. He could get hurt. It won't last. But John Harbaugh said, what lasts? Outside of Brady and Belichick and New England's dynasty, what the hell lasts in this league? So John Harbaugh, who had a great reputation, who had maxed his 401k, who was well-respected, was going to get Hall of Fame votes, said, you know what, I'm going to go all in on Lamar Jackson. I'm going to siphon off some of that 401k. I'm going to take a mortgage on my house a little bit, and I'm going to roll the dice on this kid, and maybe he'll get hurt. But this whole thing about Lamar won't last. What does in this league outside of New England? Nothing lasts. By the way, not every investment. I mean, you guys dated, right? You don't have to marry everybody you date. When you buy a home in real estate, when you get out of college, don't they call it a starter home? You know you can't raise your kids in it. It's not big enough, but you buy in real estate what they call a starter home. It's not what you're going to retire in. Not everything has to be forever. I don't know if Lamar Jackson's going to last. I don't know. You know, people tell me it's a lot like Colin Kaepernick. So let's just think about that for a second. Colin Kaepernick got to a Super Bowl and 2 NFC championships. Think 99% of the coaches not named like Bill Belichick would take that today? That's a failure. You looking at this league where 20 teams, this morning wake up and they don't think they have much of a chance to win the Super Bowl? Like, I don't know if this lasts. But what I know is it's great now. That gets you another contract as a coach, great now. And the other thing is, I don't think it's a fad or I don't think it's a trick. I think he's a much better, and I think Baltimore, to me, feels, you can say the Kaepernick stuff, but he was a better high school quarterback than Kaepernick, a better college quarterback, and he's a better NFL quarterback. Kaepernick never had a curveball. Everything he threw 100 miles an hour. Lamar's got touch. Lamar's a team guy. Lamar is coachable. Lamar is getting better. Lamar's about the team, not about Lamar. So, if nobody ever took a chance in life, you'd have no Vegas. If you weren't willing to gamble on stuff, you wouldn't have a Vegas. And if you weren't willing to gamble on stuff, we'd have no Silicon Valley, which now runs the American economy. John Harbaugh said, you know what? The 30 teams that drafted ahead of me, they don't want to do this. I'm just going to go all in. I got my 401k. I've been putting away forever. I built a great reputation. And again, I don't know if this lasts, but I know it's great now. And what lasts? Cam Newton gets defended at every corner. Anytime I criticize him, you defend him. Cam Newton's had one great year. Can't stay healthy. How long did that last? Aaron Rodgers, to me, does not look physically like the same guy he was 6 years ago after 2 collarbone surgeries. Nothing lasts. You just, in this league, you take what you can get. You've got to evolve. You got to roll the dice sometimes. Take New England out of it. Best coach ever, best quarterback ever, one of the best owners ever. Take the best offensive line coach ever. The rest of the league, be great now. It's okay to siphon off a little of the 401k to get rich now. I just love, everybody is so freaked out about, will this running stuff last? All these running quarterbacks work. Most don't last, but Russell Wilson's lasting. He never gets hit. And Kyler Murray, he's a baseball guy like Russell. Nobody's getting hits on him. Steve Young ran around for years. He ended up in the Hall of Fame. Kaepernick got to a Super Bowl. Lamar's on the best team now. Will it last? Most stuff in life doesn't last. I've said this before. The greatest product I've ever purchased, ever, there's one thing that I bought for nothing and it's lasted forever. Goulet, do you know what that is? It's a grill. I'm always shocked. You go to Home Depot or Lowe's, you pay $300 for a grill. I use it 190 times a year and it lasts 30 years. That's the only product I've ever purchased in my life. I'm like, I pay nothing for it and it lasts forever. Nothing lasts forever. Win now. Roll the dice. Because what I'm watching in Baltimore is a lot better than what I see in Los Angeles, and let's shift to that. From day one, day one, Joy as my witness, I said, let's slow down on Sean McVay as a genius. Let's slow down on the Rams are the future of the NFL. I said, remember the first thing I said? Kyle Shanahan is the best young coach in the NFC West. And Pete Carroll's the best coach in the NFC West. So McVay's third. The second thing I said is, I live in Los Angeles. I'm watching what's happening. The Rams are overpaying for everybody. LeBron comes to town, got a new stadium with PSLs. They're burning through money. Remember we used to joke with the Rams 2 years ago? We're like, are they using a different bank than everybody? Are they at one of these offshore banks where they get some sort of interest rate or they can hide money? Folks, this morning, the bank came to collect the note on the Rams. And they're 6-5. And they have no first-round picks for 3 years. And McVay's the second-best young coach in his division. And they got to pay Jalen Ramsey a fortune. And Brandon Cooks may retire soon with a concussion issue. And they have major offensive line issues. And Jared Goff next year will be the biggest cap hit in the entire league. And oh, by the way, you paid Todd Gurley a year early, and he's done. He's a B back, and he's got 2 more years that you're going to have to load the Brinks truck over to his house. Last night, the Rams had 22 yards rushing. They ran the ball 9 times. This was a power running team a year ago. So on top of that, a story broke last week that the stadium overrun is making the $2 billion stadium a $6 billion stadium, which is as much as Jerry World, the Colts Stadium, and the Eagles Stadium combined. So that's just going to add more pressure on the organization to win now. McVay, win now. Coach Les Snead, build now. This thing is I'm not saying the Rams are a bad football operation. What I'm saying is they're the opposite of New England. Just talked about this with Lamar. Great is fleeting in this league. Nothing lasts. But here's a way to make success last longer. Pay rarely and never pay early. Now, New England's going to pay Stephon Gilmore. They paid Gronk. They paid for great kickers. They paid for offensive linemen or a pass rusher. But pay rarely, be frugal, and never pay early. And I thought the Rams, and I said this a year ago, LeBron came to town, new stadium, cost overruns, selling PSLs. They're paying everybody. They have the most expensive corner with Jalen Ramsey soon, and defensive tackle, and running back, and now quarterback. What's the hurry? Today they feel old, stale, tired. They looked slow last night. Now, do I think McVay is smart? Yes. Do I think they have good people in the building? Absolutely. But this, to me, we got way too hot on this. I did not believe it was sustainable. I didn't think they'd fall and be this bad like last night. And to Sean McVay's credit, he's a stand-up guy and said, we're not going to waste too much time whining about this. He's a super smart guy. My theory on life is trust smart people. They'll figure it out. But this always felt like a little too hot of an organization. A little too many stars, money for everybody, using a different bank. And last night, the bank came to collect. And they're a little shy in L.A. Ram land. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.